Right. So now it's time for the game developers. And first up we have Quickspin. So where do I have Quickspin? We're looking for Daniel Lindberg. Perfect, welcome.
Thank you. All right, hi everybody. Some familiar faces. So my name is Daniel Lindberg. I'm the CEO of Quickspin. And apologies in advance, I have a bit of a bad cold, so if I cough or stop to drink water, you know why at least. So Quickspin, we were founded back in 2011 by myself and two other founders with background from NetEnt and Unibet. And I know that many of you have been around for a long time in this industry, and as you probably remember, that market from the supplier side looked completely different back then compared to what it looks like today. The market was more or less dominated by three main players in net entertainment, micro gaming, Playtech, basically having monopoly over the operator's casino wallet and over the operator's casino lobby. And of course, operators wanted to differentiate their offering against competition and wanting to reduce the dependency on basically the only supplier that they had in their most profitable product vertical. So there lied an opportunity. And me and my fellow co-founders, we love to play games, slots in particular. And we knew that there was a demand from operators. So said and done, we wanted to start to develop the games that we like to play ourselves. And hopefully other players would follow. And fortunately for us, they did. And the rest is history. So today we are present, or we employ around about 100 people. We are located in 3 different locations. Main office is in Stockholm. We have a subsidiary in Malta and an office in Kiev. We have a little bit over 50 games, and we launch 1 new game per month. We are present in 9 regulated markets, with more regulated markets to come in next coming year. And we have probably the most extensive and powerful set of promotional tools on the market that will allow our customers to differentiate their communication and their offering against their competitors. And it all comes together under one vision and one customer promise, and that is to create the most thrilling gambling experience ever. We have a set of games, over 50 games, all catered to suit different player profiles and player demographics. And whereas many of our competitors in recent years have tried to compensate lack of growth by increasing the amount of games that they do, we have tried to go with the complete opposite direction. Invest more in innovation, invest more in quality, and try to output content that truly adds value to an operator's portfolio. And I'm pleased to say that we today offer 1 new, unique, innovative game per month, with the ambition to always try to add something new to the operator's offering. Set aside from our excellent portfolio of games, we have probably the best and most powerful set of promotional tools on the market today. So this does not only enable the operator to differentiate their communication and their offering towards their competitors, but it allows them to further excel in how you attract, retain, and reactivate your player base. And this is something that we will continue to build on in the Quickspin story in the years to come. And as a final remark on what's next for us, which I think sums it up pretty well. So in a nutshell, this is what we try to do every single day going to work, trying to create the best game ever. And that's it for me.
All right, perfect, thank you. So next up we have Push Gaming.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Cheers. Okay. So I've got a very brief presentation. In fact, this is actually my only slide, so this will be quite quick. I'm the CEO and a co-founder of Push Gaming. We have got just over a team of just over 50 people with offices in the UK, Ukraine, and Malta. We've released 28 games to date. A huge focus for us is around user experience, is around creating games that offer an incredible gaming experience, and that's what we've managed to do, especially over the last 2 years. We've released some major hit titles in Fat Rabbit, definitely a popular and favourite one, also Jam in Jars and Wild Swarm. At the moment, we've got plans to get a Malta license, which we're in application for right now. We've also got a UK license, and we operate in most of the major regulated markets throughout Europe. And here's some of our customers that you can't see too well there, but Kindred, Leo Vegas, Casumo, Betsson, a lot of the major operators, especially in Scandinavia. So that's us. Thank you.
Perfect. All right, so next up we have No Limit City. Welcome.
Thanks. All right. Hello, my name is Jonas Tigman. I'm one of the co-founders of No Limit. So thank you for inviting me. It's actually the 4th time I'm here presenting No Limit. And it feels a little bit like No Limit is a new company every year. So we've grown into a decent size company now, 22 games, so we actually have a portfolio we can show to operators. 4 employees in 3 locations, 60 customers, roughly half of them directly integrated, adding about 4 new clients per month. No. Here we go. So this year we opened a new Indian development office. I'm not really a big fan of outsourcing, but thanks to NetEnt and a couple of other companies, there's a really nice pool of talented people that knows how to build a slot in South New Delhi. So this is really working out for us. So this is something we will definitely continue to invest in. We also went from 7 games in 2018 to 14 games this year. That was quite the big of a challenge, especially end of 2018 when pretty much the same amount of people should, double the output. So that was a little bit of a struggle, but now we're back on track. And I think it's fair to say that maybe some of the games we released this year suffered a little bit from this. The big thing for us this year is that we're trying to adapt to what I call like a new provider landscape. It's simply not as good as it used to be. I mean, there's a tremendous amount of provider companies out there that really knows how to build a good game. And I mean, operators now, they can release maybe up to 50 games per month, and it used to be 5 games just, a few years ago. So I think that has also changed a little bit player behavior. I feel there's more of a, sort of a chew and spit and that's it kind of behavior among the players. So, I mean, a lot of games, they really churn fast. And I mean, all the strategies, all the decisions we take now, we try to base that on the fact that, I mean, we are moving into a more mature and sort of normalized market within the provider sector. Although things are a little bit tougher, we expect to grow about 300% on revenue from 2018. So moving into 2020, we're not complicating things, aiming at 16 games, adding 50 new clients or so. We're going to focus a little bit more on regulated markets. We're also releasing a gamification promotion campaign tool. I mean, this is something that I think will still be cool to do in 2019, but not to have a product like this in 2020 will be uncool. And basically, we don't want to be uncool. That's where we draw the line at No Limit. We're aiming to continue with 300% revenue growth between 2019 and 2020. So what's unique about No Limit? Well, we focus a lot on quality and efficiency. I mean, now we know we are entering a business where there's a lot of competition. There's, you know, the industry is maturing, normalizing. I mean, what we're doing is going a little bit back to basics. So, I mean, for any good product company, it's not enough to just have a good product. I mean, you must also produce it quite cheap and have control over distribution and have a good sales team. So basically, that's what we're doing, trying to add creativity and innovation into that, but then it's just grinding. So, I mean, our strategy going forward is you know, keep it simple, back to basics, and grind, and that's how we want to build value the next few years. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So now it's time for the panel discussion. Welcome to the stage. And thank you for your presentations. So
Yes, we are ahead of schedule thanks to James.
yeah, really good. Once. Do you want to start off?
Yeah, obviously the regulation is a big topic and we will continue to ask our panels that, but could you just briefly discuss about maybe some hurdles with the regulation, some unexpected either opportunities or stuff that come out so far? Jonas, if you would like to.
Well, first of all, I think well, it's a little bit sad because I think they did it in the wrong way. I would have preferred the UK approach where each provider business has their own license. Because what happens now when operator has the license and they're adding providers, there's like a new set of documentation and stuff they have to do. And you know, we provide that, but then they work in different ways. So there's always like a big administration mess to go through over and over again. So just feels like unnecessary that, you know, it went the way it went.
Anything to add, James?
I mean, the framework from a supplier point of view is a lot more straightforward than from the operator side. So actually supporting games in regulated markets is pretty straightforward at the moment. It's quite clear exactly what we need to deliver on. So from our point of view, we've been able to release games into newly regulated markets, and we've been able to support it. It's not the best from a game design point of view. We are, as I mentioned in my presentation, we're very passionate about creating amazing user experiences, and having these bars and buttons in the games isn't ideal. But aside from that, at the moment, it's quite easy to work with. So yes, it's not caused us too much pain at this point.
Daniel, do you have any different view or?
No, not in general. Just reflecting on in general. I had a 5-day audit last week, and hence the grey hair.
Yeah.
Makes you realize that it's happened a lot in our industry, and I think even though as a supplier you're let off pretty easy, we have come a far way, and there's a lot of compliance, and that was I didn't say that in my presentation, but we were acquired by Playtech 3.5 years ago, and that was one of the main drivers behind that. And I think obviously this is an area that will continue to expand and continue to cost a lot of money and swallow a lot of resources. And I think having economy of scale, which we have access to now through our owners, is of course a big benefit to us in that area.
And continuing the regulation, what responsibility do you think, do you think that you as a developer have to help increase the channelization by not working with unlicensed operators? Jonas, you want to start?
Well, we're moving towards regulations, and you know, we prefer that. Although it's a little bit of hard work to get there. I mean, that's the way we want to go, and you know, we tell all our partners, and you know, with agreements that you know this is what you're supposed to do and not to do, and you know, yeah, that's how we work.
Yeah, Daniel, I think
we
that
don't work with unlicensed operators in markets that we are. Regulated markets that we're present in, so that's not a problem for us. And I think in general it's a matter of, as a supplier, that you're clear on how you design a game, so it's clear for the player what's happening, how much you bet, how much you win. Obviously, Thinking about the UK regulation, there's been a lot of talk about underage gambling, making sure that the content is not available even on our site for viewing for people under 18, removing it on YouTube and so on. Graphics are not appealing to children and so on. So I think those are things that we can control.
Yeah. Anything to add, James?
Not really, no. I mean, for us, and I was talking to Johan from Zimpler a moment ago, and a big focus has to be that the suppliers support the operators in these regulated markets. So again, as a supplier, you don't have a huge amount of onus on you to support the regulations, as in the technical requirements, as I mentioned, are quite straightforward. So yeah, I think as a step for suppliers is definitely to start supporting the operators more in the regulations that they need to adhere to.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I think you all mentioned the aspect of quality, and if you just look at like in Europe, I think there's over 300 developers. I think there's post 14,000 games or something. What's your view in terms of, say, produce quality or quantity, because players just chew and spit it away anyway? How do you approach it, and what's your view going forward? Maybe Jonas, you could start.
Yeah, I mean it's a difficult balance that you have to do, but I mean I think when this industry is maturing, becoming more like other industries, I mean we'll probably see lower margins. I think it's quite important that you are efficient. I mean you don't really have the luxury to do really expensive games anymore. I mean you have to be smart, and so that's what we're trying to do. And definitely we want a fair amount of releases every year because of the fact that it's a different kind of product now than it was a few years ago. Games were more sticky back then. Now it's more flavor of the month sort of. So I mean we put ourselves somewhere in the middle, good quality but still try to make it fairly cheap.
And Daniel, you focusing really on quality?
I doubt that many companies would claim that they don't do quality games, but we truly try to do that. That's been the core of Quickspin since we started. But of course, like Jonas said, there's so much content coming out now. I spoke to one tier operator in August. They launched 157 games in a single month. And obviously, if you don't do quality, unless your games add value in some shape or form, it will be extremely difficult to make money. So I think that's what it comes back to, that you really need to make an impact with the games that you do, be it in mathematics or graphics or price or whatever. But just doing more of the same, which I see some of our competitors doing, thinking that they will fix the growth aspect with doubling the amount of content, I don't see that working for that's not a sustainable business model in my view.
Yeah. James, anything to add?
I think, I mean, we might be a bit of an extreme on the kind of quality over quantity side of things. All of the success that we've seen over the last couple of years has been based around producing these games that have got very good stickiness, and we're still very much focused on quality over quantity. But yeah, I mean, players are buying into new things. I think that you need to, as a game supplier, really try and understand what the players are buying into, and build games around that. And that takes time and it costs money. And it's a tricky approach though, because of regulations and because the absolute volume of games that are coming through. But we're kind of sticking to that at the moment. So.
Yeah, all right.
I just want to add a question there, because as you mentioned, did you say 147 releases or something? Yeah, but I mean, the to be in the lobby is quite important then, to be shown. How do you, I don't know, develop the relationship with the key operators to do that? I mean, is it just wine and dine and?
I think that's part of it.
Yeah, part of it. Yeah.
No, but I think first of all it's a matter of getting across what type of value you add with your content that you launch. But I think I've also seen a shift in recent years. I mean, if you look at the 1,000 operators out there. Most of them have the same type of content. And I think if you look at the player mentality today, you go to a site to play a specific game, whether it's Starburst or Book of Dead or Big Bad Wolf or whatever game that is. So I think the loyalty in some aspects have shifted from the player being loyal to the operator to being loyal to the game. And that, if you think about it, that has some interesting dynamics in the discussion, right? So what we will try to do, or what I think will be important for anyone moving forward, is to try and create more loyalty to your brand and to your portfolio of games. And that's why we have some of the tools that we have in our portfolio to incentivize players to continue to play quick-spin games. Because with 157 games launched in a month, at some point you will drop from the top position to the low position, and you want to increase stickiness. But I think also what will happen now is that it's inevitable that this is about to become a commodity. And what happens in markets where products become a commodity, you need to differentiate. And one way is price, and we will see a lot of price pressure. Or the other way is to differentiate by product and try to add value in different aspects, be it the game or promotional tools or regulated markets, or the ones that will not manage one or the other will be stuck in the middle, and that will be extremely difficult, I think.
And I think this might bring us to our next question. So NetEnt acquired Red Tigers a few weeks ago. Do you expect that this might be the start of an increased M&A phase? And how do you think it affects you as a business? Jonas, do you want to?
Well, I think it will continue. I think it's right now it's a pretty good environment for transactions. I mean, valuation has gone down, and I think startups are struggling. I don't know how attractive they are, but I mean the mid-sized companies, they sit on interesting products and a good platform maybe. The big guys, they have cash and maybe a outdated platform. So I mean it's a good environment to shake things up and buy something. And I think when NetEnt bought Red Tiger, it was a lot like a product-driven transaction. I mean they needed to get some new, besides getting the momentum back in the industry, they needed a little bit of side products to sort of start again.
Yeah. And Daniel, you have some experience already from the consolidation phase, right?
No, but one of the drivers for us was that we believe that this market will become more complex and more costly to operate in, and you need some scale to. If your ambition is to compete on a global level, then you need some scale. Otherwise, it will be too difficult, and then you have to sort of narrow your focus to a specific market or to a specific vertical. So I think, yes, consolidation will continue. A lot of the mid-sized suppliers will be swallowed by the larger ones, and then we will see the larger ones and the small ones. I don't think there is much room for anything in between.
Yeah, but will it be more difficult for new, smaller studios to...
No, I don't think so. I mean, there's plenty of aggregators out there, so getting content out in the market, that is easy. But how do you get an impact? And what margins do you have left when you give away 20, 30, 40% to the aggregator, plus tax, plus bonus deduction, plus the small royalty you're able to charge? So for those guys to survive, you need to have a very small costume, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, and also for those guys, I mean, they will not be able to differentiate their product very much because they're stuck in, some kind of system that they have to do in one way. I mean, if you have your own platform, and then at least you have the opportunity to do new things and be flexible and pick up on trends and stuff.
Yeah. James, something to add?
Not really on that, no.
All right, let us continue with a huge market in West, the US. What potential do you see there for your business? Daniel, do you want to start off?
A lot of potential, of course, but our focus as Quickspin now is Europe and other emerging markets. I think South America is looking more appealing for the time being. But again, being part of a larger group, we're able to follow the tracks of our owners. And Playtech is doing some stuff in North America, and when the time is right and when they've done the groundwork, we can just come in and
sweep up the money.
Grab the money.
James, anything?
Yeah, I mean it's a super interesting market in that it's from a slots point of view. There's a huge appetite for slot content in the US. It's proven, so it's really interesting as a game studio. it's got massive challenges at the minute, from IP protection and obviously the regulation side of things. But it's definitely interesting, and especially as kind of the competing in this market, in the European market, and trying to create content that really stands apart in this market. I feel that it will give us as game studios from Europe a bit of an edge when going into the US market later on.
Jonas, anything to add to the
Yeah,
US
but of course it's
potential?
an interesting market. Obviously the potential is huge someday. I mean, we looked at a case not too long ago, and we made a business case. I mean, I really wanted it to work, but I mean, I realized quite quickly that we don't have a business case here, and that was in New Jersey. So.
So the conclusion is that they're waiting for the big players to open the door, or?
I mean, for us to go in there, we need some kind of partnership. I understand why the big guys are doing it, because they, probably not making so much money, but they wait for the big money in a few years. But I mean, for us as a small company, it's like we don't see the business case yet.
Yeah, and do you see any other markets that are interesting? Africa, South America, Asia, so on?
I mean, we are driven by our customers, so if they want to go somewhere, or if we get contacted, I mean, that's a new case we will always look at.
Yeah.
I mean, where there is gambling, there's opportunity, and I think now South America is popping up a lot. I hear Africa more and more. I mean, everyone is pretty much in Asia to some extent, so yeah, everywhere but US, really.
Yeah. Daniel?
No, for us, its strategy is to continue to increase the share of regulated market revenue, and there's a lot still to do in Europe. And I think, again, going back to our owners, they move into both North and South America, so I think there will be a lot of regulated market revenues that we can reap the benefits from there. So that's before Africa, for us at least.
Yeah. James?
Yeah, I mean, Latin America, I agree with Daniel, is probably the most interesting out of a lot of the markets that are opening up right now, as there is actually some quite clear frameworks and regulations kicking in. So that's probably the most interesting market. Again, has its challenges. Payments, as I understand it, I'm not an expert in Africa or Latin America, but payments being one of the challenges. But yeah, that's probably the most interesting out of those markets for us, or new markets.
All right, perfect. So we're running out of time. So I'd like to thank you for a really interesting discussion. And we're having another panel directly after this one. It's the regulation panel. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, just bear with us. It's going to take a few minutes to just change the mics.